Chances are living green plays a role in your everyday life, possibly in ways you don't even realize. Maybe you recycle, shop at a new green business, or have a green job.
We have to do this for our planet.
Maybe you're worried about the food we eat,
Hell no, GMO!
the air we breathe, or our water supply. Or like some Metro Detroiters, maybe you've gotten closer to nature.
Bees have existed for over 50 million years the way they are now.
Come on, Mama. There you go.
Then there are those who want to do more but don't know where to start. Over the next half hour, we'll show you how some of your neighbors are helping our planet and how you can get involved. There are always new ways of living green. Hello, I'm Robin Schwartz. Welcome to our FOXe special. We're here at Sacra in Troy, which collects and sorts recyclables for 300,000 Metro Detroiters. All of this paper you see around me is headed to a paper mill. At home, you have your recycle bin filled with plastics and other items. But what happens after that? We travel to Hillsdale to see how one company is bringing recycled plastics and steel back to life in a colorful way. There's a rainbow of colors inside Recreation Creations, a factory where they manufacture fun.
Recreation Creations is a producer of commercial playground equipment. Think about school systems, municipalities, large playground structures at a park.
These are just some of their imaginative play structures made with recycled materials, including steel from the auto industry and hard plastics like you might find in children's toys. It's all shaped and molded into something brand new.
We have 25 or 30,000 different part numbers, and the variations and configurations are virtually endless.
President Dave Herman took us on a tour of the facility, which employs about 30 people. They weld, bend steel, cut plastic, and use green technology to apply paint that goes on as powder. It's then baked in a giant oven.
Think of a wet spray paint that you buy in the store. That's called high VOC, which means you're emitting volatile organic compounds into the atmosphere. With our powder coat system, we don't vent anything into the atmosphere.
And he says the products do not contain PVC, which many call poison plastic. The play structures are designed and engineered to meet safety standards, then shipped in parts all over the world. Installers assemble them on site. The company's been around since the 1970s, but in the early 90s, they started to focus on being green. Herman says it simply makes sense. Recreation Creations says they can complete most orders in about 4 weeks. You'll find a link with more information on the FOXe page at myfoxdetroit.com. Throughout the year, we've seen other creative recycling efforts, from schools to businesses to individuals.
We put 2-person on a box.
These Detroit students are doing some heavy lifting to help the planet and doing it with a smile.
There you go.
We caught up with the green team at Emerson Elementary and Middle School, unloading about 1,200 phone books. This is just one of 15 Detroit schools that spent weeks collecting the books as part of Project Redirectory, a recycling contest to keep all of this good paper from going to waste.
Every day people kill trees and throw the paper in the garbage. We're reusing it and turning it into brand new paper.
It's a part of the science curriculum, and the kids are just excited about it.
31, 32, 33.
The phone books all go to Recycle Here, Detroit's recycling center. Eventually, they'll be turned into rulers, egg cartons, cereal boxes, even home insulation.
98, 99, 100.
This is what you see when you walk into the 90,000 square foot Gardner White showroom in Auburn Hills. Lots of beautiful furniture. And this is what happens behind the scenes. The 101-year-old furniture store is about as high-tech as they come when it comes to recycling. They have their own mini recycling facility right on site. As you can imagine, they go through plenty of cardboard here. All that furniture comes in some pretty big boxes.
Either we're going to pay to have it hauled away and put it in a landfill, or this way we get it, most of it's recycled.
Gardner White's president says back in the day, they'd burn it. Then all those boxes went into landfills. Now the cardboard is chopped up into bales that weigh about 1,300 pounds each. They recycle about 20,000 pounds a week. The girl behind that bright smile is 17-year-old Brianna Moore, a Cass Tech High School senior, a volunteer at Highland Park's Boys and Girls Club, and an environmental activist. Armed with those rubber gloves and a regular old plastic bag, she's helping clean up our environment one cigarette butt at a time. It's a project she started on her own after a lesson in biology class.
I was just learning about how cigarette butts do not break down in the environment. If someone flicks one out, you come back where they flicked it out at. It could be there from 2 months, maybe 4.
So Brianna decided to get off her butt and do something about it. She created the Green Lifesaver Recycling Foundation. We went along in Highland Park, and as you can see, there are cigarette butts everywhere.
There's one that got lipstick on it.
Environmental groups estimate there are billions, even trillions of them, with acetate filters that can take years to decompose, leaching toxins like cadmium, arsenic, and lead into our environment.
A lot of people say recycling is hard, you can't do it, or a lot of people just don't care.
But Brianna does. She's been doing this for 2 years now, and she's picked up
200,000 actually.
Then she packs them up and ships them to the company TerraCycle in New Jersey, which recycles them into plastic pallets. Such a great effort, and as you just saw, one person truly can make a difference. Wondering what else you can do at home? Recycle compact fluorescent light bulbs. They have a small amount of mercury in them, so don't just throw them out. Several home improvement chains accept them, including Lowe's, Home Depot, and IKEA. Take your e-waste, like old computers, TVs, and other electronics, to a place like Geep in Redford. They'll break them down and keep materials like lead and other environmental hazards out of landfills. And you can also recycle large appliances like refrigerators. DTE will haul away your old working refrigerator for free and pay you for it.
You pick it up for free, we'll take it out of your basement and haul it away and mail you a check for $40. So far we have recycled over 100,000 refrigerators since 2009.
You can also throw in an old working air conditioner or dehumidifier with that refrigerator, and DTE will give you an extra $20 for each. Still to come. Being Green is helping bring in the green for many local businesses. From an eco boutique in Berkeley to a commercial fish farm in Detroit.
It's just amazing to have a total in-house ecosystem.
Grab me a lettuce.
And a delivery service in Livonia that brings farm fresh food right to your door. We'll check out some of the green places to work and shop around town after this. We're in Berkeley now at an eco boutique on 12 Mile that was built around being green. They sell all kinds of cool things here, like this purse made of recycled bicycle tires and these wine bottle earrings. And this is just one of the many green businesses providing jobs across Metro Detroit. The name of the store is different, and so are the things inside. Our Greentopia on 12 Mile in Berkeley is a new eco-lifestyle boutique filled with fun and functional green items, from cleaning products to organic cotton clothing to
kitchen stuff. We've got candles, we've got stuff for your dog.
Owner Katie Ryder was a health management consultant for 15 years, but she says she's always been an environmentalist at heart. So she decided to open her first ever store and make it earth friendly.
I felt that offering people a greener choice for their purchases would help us all make a small difference.
The products she selects are made with fewer toxins and sustainable materials like bamboo. She also focuses on local artists like the woman who makes this zipper art and sells things like these backpacks and lunch boxes made of recycled water bottles, toys made from milk jugs, and bowls crafted from coconuts.
Grab me a lettuce.
The assembly line is humming bright and early every morning inside this Livonia warehouse. We saw workers weighing carrots, inspecting apples, and filling these boxes with all kinds of fresh organic produce. The food comes from dozens of local farms, and Door-to-Door Organics delivers it to thousands of families across Metro Detroit and into Lansing, Flint, Grand Rapids, and Toledo, Ohio.
We have one van with an optimized route going out to 80 to 100 customers.
The company started small in Fenton in 2007, and it's grown by leaps and bounds. Over the last few years, they've gone from just 7 workers to 50 employees and counting.
It's turned from a cute little company to a really strong, responsibly growing company. We still want to be cute, so we hope that we are.
You could call this a fish's eye view inside the tilapia tank, where this small school of fish will quickly grow into a full-scale farming operation. It's hard to imagine now, but these 13 fish are expected to spawn 500 to 1,000 offspring in the next month and a half to get this self-sustaining ecosystem going.
Every female can lay 50 to 100 eggs, and we have 10 females and 3 males.
Anthony Hattinger is the aquaponics supervisor at the CDC Farm and Fishery on 2nd Avenue, an elaborate operation at the site of an old liquor store. It's run by Central Detroit Christian, a nonprofit focused on education, employment, and economic development. And the fish are just one part. Upstairs, these beds are set up to grow herbs like rosemary, sage, and other greens. They'll use fish waste and a worm bed to produce nutrients for the plants. The plants then purify the water, which is pumped back downstairs for the fish.
It's just amazing to have, a total in-house ecosystem.
They say they're saving the planet one repair at a time. At Malash's Collision Center on Lapeer Road, and that's not just some catchy slogan. This is what the body shop and parts distribution warehouse used to look like just a few years ago, a contaminated brownfield.
There was oil reservoirs just sitting on the floor and oil dripping from the ceiling.
But owner Brian Malash put the money and the time into cleaning it up. Now the 61,000 square foot facility is filled with green features, including these solar panels up on the roof, which generate about 10% of the building's electricity from the sun.
Even the oil from our oil changes, we have waste oil burners that actually burns the oil that heats actually half of the building with waste oil heat.
The shop also recycles its solvents. They used to throw away 50 gallons of turpentine every month, and they got a $10,000 credit from DTE to install this energy-efficient T5 lighting. Speaking of those credits from DTE, there are lots of green incentives out there for businesses.
We offer a number of incentives for businesses to put in more energy-efficient equipment. And we do have a program called Solar Currents, where we are incenting customers to put solar installations either on their roof or on their place of business. Anytime that we can take usage off the grid, we're doing the entire community a service.
You can learn more about DTE's programs or find links for the great green businesses we've featured on the FOXe page at myfoxdetroit.com. When we come back, living green doesn't always come naturally.
It's really sad when you go into the grocery store, just right around your community, and everything in there is banned in other countries.
And it doesn't come without controversy either.
That's an environmental nightmare for Detroit. And Windsor is criminal.
Just ahead, how environmental concerns are bringing Metro Detroiters together. Here at Holiday Market in Royal Oak, they recently switched all of their lighting to energy-saving LEDs, and they're saving about $3,000 a month. The food on supermarket shelves is also at the center of a big controversy. It's just one of several issues making people think about our environment.
Hell no to GMO!
This large vocal crowd marched through the streets of Ann Arbor in May as part of a global protest against seed giant Monsanto. Similar March Against Monsanto protests were held in 52 countries. Demonstrators are angry much of our food comes from genetically modified plants, grown from seeds engineered to grow faster or resist diseases and insects. Most corn, soybeans, and cotton in the U.S. are genetically modified. Fox 2 has talked to farmers and scientists who praise the biotechnology.
There's really nothing we can point to at this time that would say that this has done any damage to anyone.
But these protesters beg to differ. Many fear genetically modified foods will have long-term consequences on our health and the environment.
They have been linked to infertility, cancer, autoimmune diseases.
8 European countries, including France, Germany, and Greece, have banned the cultivation of GMO crops. Dozens of others, including China, have labeling restrictions. But here in the U.S., while many non-GMO or organic products are labeled, the Food and Drug Administration does not require labeling for genetically modified foods. Another problem that drew international attention was pet coke piled along the Detroit River. At one point, about 125,000 tons were there. It's since been removed, but there's more in other areas. Fox 2's Amy Lang covered the controversy.
Is that the pet coke?
Yeah, that's the pet coke, and this is video shot from Windsor on Saturday. A huge cloud of black dust over the Detroit River during a rainstorm. The culprit, the huge piles of petroleum coke being stored along the water near the Ambassador Bridge in southwest Detroit.
I couldn't figure out why my asthma was acting way worse than it always has.
That's an environmental nightmare for Detroit and Windsor. Is criminal.
All of that anger directed at Detroit Bulk Storage, the company responsible for storing the pet coke on this property. But even the owner of the property, Matty Maroon, doesn't want the stuff there.
We do not approve.
You see, part of the property is leased to Norfolk Southern, and they are allowing the pet coke to be stored there. Petroleum coke is a byproduct of tar sands refining done at the Marathon plant. The pet coke is then sold to the Koch brothers. Koch Minerals contracts with Detroit Bulk Storage. They have the product trucked to this property, then shipped off.
You need to get the material off-site.
Back in June, Detroit Bulk was ordered to stop accepting petroleum coke at this site. They've been ticketed because they continued to do so, although they say they're not accepting any more at the moment.
Trash talk also took center stage. Detroit's solid waste incinerator on Russell is part of a burning debate. The monster facility is the largest of its kind in the world. It's estimated 2,800 tons of trash are burned daily, and neighbors say it reeks.
It's like hot garbage, fish-like. It's really a bad smell.
The foul odor is not the only complaint. Residents and environmental groups also blame the waste-to-energy facility for air pollution and breathing problems. They say asthma rates for children in the area are higher than the national average. They believe from toxic emissions.
And we're asking them to be a good neighbor and to stop stinking up the neighborhood.
The group Zero Waste Detroit has been a vocal opponent of the incinerator. 2 firms, Advanced Disposal Services and Rizzo, were recently selected by the Emergency Manager's Office to begin trash pickup and curbside recycling in May. Some believe with less waste going into Detroit's incinerator, it's time to shut it down. We'll keep you posted on this developing story. Some say closing the incinerator down would actually create more jobs because 4 times as many workers would be needed for recycling. Up next, birds do it.
Come on, Mama. There you go.
Bees do it. Even creepy crawly insects do it.
Oh, look at that.
They tell us a lot about our environment. You'll meet local residents answering the call of the wild when we come back. We've made our way over to the Butterfly Garden here at the Detroit Zoo in Royal Oak. The zoo is a green facility itself, and it's open all year round. Throughout the year, we've shown you how some of the smallest creatures, from birds to bees to bugs, can teach us important things about our environment. They scurry out of the classroom to look for creepy, crawly critters. These 5th graders at Gudith Elementary in Brownstown are preparing for a bug hunt. It's a unique way of keeping track of water quality, and it has a big technical name.
Benthic macroinvertebrate monitoring.
So what does it mean? Students are hunting for bugs that crawl or slither on the bottom of the river, can be seen without a microscope, and have no backbone. The more they find, the better the water quality. The kids dig through this muck taken from a nearby drain and see what's there. Then they put the bugs in ice cube trays for counting.
Oh, look at that! Oh, that's a leaf!
It's pretty rare to get this kind of close-up look at honeybees, but when you do, it's truly fascinating.
Pull that one out, put this one back in.
Beekeeper Rich Wieske tends to tens of thousands of bees in the city of Detroit. He has dozens of these buzzing hives in various neighborhoods, like this one on Theodore Street on the city's east side.
Bees have existed for over 50 million years the way they are now, and they did fine without us. They'll do fine without us again.
But they're not doing fine in our current environment. Bees are dying off at an alarming rate across the U.S. That's bad news because we depend on them to pollinate about a third of the food supply on Earth.
They're very big and they're very powerful.
And Fox 2 photographer Troy Adamson was very brave, stepping into this giant cage with two great horned owls.
Come on, Mama. There you go.
They're birds of prey at Spirit-Filled Wings, a home-based raptor rehabilitation center in Oakland County, run by Linda Bianco, who's federally licensed.
I started working with them and it was just almost like an instant, this is where I belong.
Linda does this for the love of these amazing creatures. Many of them come to her injured or sick, and she nurses them back to health so they can return to the wild. Another bird of prey, an osprey, was part of a big adventure this year with DTE Energy. Back in May, the energy company got a call from a landfill in Monroe County's Berlin Township. The rare birds were nesting on a power pole that was shorting out, so DTE moved the nest out of harm's way. Then in July, a baby osprey chick was tagged and banded for tracking.
It is a male, and the male will bring back a female to the area where he was born and hopefully keep reproducing in this area.
The bans also allow researchers to follow the location of the birds. Because of chemical pesticides and other factors, the majestic osprey was nearly non-existent in southeast Michigan in the 1950s and 60s. But the DNR started a program about 16 years ago to reintroduce them and protect them. That's our FOXe special. We hope it inspired you to live greener. Every little bit helps. You'll find links for all the stories you just saw on the FOXe page at myfoxdetroit.com. And keep watching for our weekly FOXe reports sponsored by DTE Energy. We welcome your story ideas too. Together, we can all live greener and make our planet a greener place. Thanks so much for watching.